Hey everybody, Maureen Bangle, Aveda Hair Color Professional and Hair Color Magic team member, coming to you with Lessons Learned Behind the Chair, episode 3. So today I wanted to focus on something that really is important to me and that I see a lot in classes. I have a lot of questions about, I have a lot of people reach out to me about, and it's something that I take very seriously. So it sounds kind of funny to say that, but the thing I take very seriously is mid-lengths and ends in the salon. So what do I mean by that? Well, to me, I can do somebody's new growth forever and ever and ever and ever and never change that formula if I wanted to do that. But people's mid-lengths and ends change every time they come in the salon. So years ago this happened. I had somebody that I did actually deposit only color treatment on. I did a 3 red violet on her for 20 minutes and she loved it. She had very long hair actually, I would say about her elbows. And she loved it and she moved away. So she asked me for her formula and I gladly gave it to her to take to her new salon. And when I did her hair the first time, she happened to be a virgin application. And she moved away, eventually came home to visit, I would say probably a year later, and said, you know, I really loved the color that you did when I was here the last time. But since I don't like it, it's gotten too dark and it's not very, it's too flat. It's really boring. It doesn't have a lot of tone to it. So what had happened was the stylist at the other salon that she had been going to in her now home state had read my formula and had continued to do the same thing. So I had done 3 red violet from new growth to ends, and she on virgin hair, and she continued to do 3 red violet from new growth to ends about 3 times. So like I said, she had had it done every couple of months, and this was her 4th application. So what happened? Well, this at the new growth was pretty, but this had gotten really dark and really flat and really drab. So what happens is that those mid-lengths and ends, if we don't reevaluate them each and every time the guest is in our chair, we're doing ourselves a disservice as a colorist, and we're not giving our guest the best color service possible. So what I ended up doing was I ended up doing 3 red violet on her new growth, and I did 0N, universal 0N, with just tone on her mid-lengths and ends. Luckily, some of that had faded out by the time she got to me for this application. But my plea to you as a colorist, and as the great colorists I know that are out there, please, 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 reevaluate your guests' mid-lengths and ends every time they come in. I'm here in Wisconsin, for those of you that don't know that, so here's how things work in Wisconsin. In January and February, there are times where we don't see sun for quite a while. Nobody's mid-lengths and ends are fading that much in January and February. So their end formula might be 0N and tone, or sometimes it might just be, now with the new Demi Plus, it might be just 0N clear to give them nice shine and some moisture, right? Now let's say in March she goes on spring break, and guess what? She goes to Mexico and she spends time in the sun. What happens to those mid-lengths and ends? They're obviously going to fade, right? So in March she may need part 0N, part N series and tone, or she might need straight N series with tone. Depends upon how much she has lightened. She's also going to need a botanical hair therapy, because I'm sure we're going to have some porosity issues with that sun. So we want to make sure we protect from that moving forward. There may be times where, like I said, it's 0N and tone. There might be 0N with natural series and tone, and there might be times where there's just straight N series and tone. So please reevaluate those things. Take pride in what you're doing, and I promise you, you'll have better results with your guests and more consistent color. So just do me a favor. Like I said, I challenge you to just take a minute, look at your guest, look at what's sitting in front of you, and evaluate your mid-lengths and ends formula each and every time they sit in your chair. If you want to give yourself a real challenge, don't ever write them down. Just do your new growth, have your new growth formula written down in the history, and always challenge that way. You always challenge yourself to create a new formula for them for that particular day. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Please, like I said in the past, in my last episode, if you have any questions or challenges, please drop them in the comments below or send me a direct message. If you'd like to keep it confidential, I'd be happy to address those on future episodes. I hope you all have a great week. We'll see you soon.